Welcome back. Valentine's Day is fast approaching, and if you're on the hunt for a simple dish to impress the other half with, then look no further. Tara Walker from East Coast Cookery School is in the kitchen with the greatest breakfast ever made.
Good morning,
Tara.
Yes, so very early for this kind of a meal, but
That's
sure tasty
tough.
Anyway. So I have a lovely warm steak salad with a blue cheese dressing.
Oh, Lord. You had me at steak.
And I have a ribeye here as well. So I'm just going to go through a few little tips for cooking a really good steak. So even if you're not serving it in a salad, you're just having it traditionally or whatever. So the first thing is have your pan super hot, okay? So you can only hover your hand about an inch from the surface of the pan for like a second or two. That's a good way of knowing, yeah. And then the other thing is oil your protein as opposed to putting oil onto the pan.
Ah, right, okay.
So, and season it well. So you can see it's seasoned here.
Yeah.
And we need to hear a sizzle here, and then we also need to rest. Okay, so good sizzle there. Happy with that.
And ribeye is the greatest, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's fabulous. Like it's a mix of your sirloin for the people who like that, with the flavour, and then of course your little bit of fillet there as well. It's fabulous, yeah. So I am serving this today with a little blue cheese dressing. So you know, typical sort of with chicken wings, you have your celery and your blue cheese. So it's a little bit of a take on that. So I've got some mayonnaise in my bowl here. I'm adding a little bit of sour cream to it.
Lovely.
Now because I'm making this as a dressing, I'm going to make it a little bit looser, but if you want to have it as a dip, just make it a little bit tighter, if you see what I mean. So a bit more cheese and a bit less lemon juice to it.
Okay.
So I've Worcestershire sauce here. Squeeze of lemon next. And there I'm going to be generous with the lemon now, so it's a dressing. Okay. But you can go a bit easier on the lemon.
That's a great gadget, Tara.
Yes,
I need more of those in my life.
I know, Mexican elbow. That is actually a gorgeous one from the Nevin Maguire range in Duns. It's actually a really nice one because I have a few of them, and I particularly like that one.
And any particular blue cheese?
So I'm using Roquefort because it's a little bit more creamy and I really like it for this. But of course you can use an Irish blue cheese. I've used Cashel blue cheese as well, and it's gorgeous in it. So whatever cheese you like there. Okay. And give it a good mix up. Now I'm going to turn my steak, and it's important to rest it, as I said. So I have one resting
do you want to cook this to a particular temperature now for the salad?
So yeah, so like I quite like it medium rare.
Okay.
Just cook it the way you like it. So I cooked this one a little earlier, and it was resting there, and I just popped it back into the oven for a couple of minutes just to make sure it's warm for you to taste. But basically, that's just cook it how you like it, basically. So that'll be a little bit more well done than this one will be.
How do you like your steak?
I like medium rare. Oh. Like more on the rare side, but not blue. Not blue, though. No, my husband loves it really blue, and it's too much for me. Yeah.
No. I'm a medium man myself.
Yes, I think medium is probably, it's good because it still has a nice texture to it, but it just doesn't have that kind of chewiness sometimes that it can have.
And you're doing a lovely little side with some spuds.
So a little side of spuds. Well, it is Valentine's meal after all. So I've just got some potatoes, which I've scrubbed and cubed there. Okay. And I have some onion salt, a little bit of chilli powder, a little bit of garlic powder, and some rosemary going onto them. Lovely. A little bit of oil. And look, this is one of these recipes, like a lot of my recipes. It was a week or two ago. What's in the fridge and cupboard? My favourite way of cooking. Absolutely. And just throw it together. So I came up with this that evening. Fantastic. So they're raw. So you're going to cook them for how long? I'm going to cook those for about half an hour. Okay. At about 200 degrees. Okay. And then I've had these ones in since a little bit earlier this morning, so you can see gorgeous kind of, So those flavours they just kind of elevated a little bit, those little seasonings. But you know what, the kicker here is going to be that blue cheese dressing, I have a feeling. Absolutely, it's going to be the great flavour in there. Yeah. So look, the one I rested earlier there, and I'll pop this onto my platter to rest. So that's going to rest? Yeah, exactly. We'll have that in a few minutes then. And what's the benefit, Tara, of not putting the oil in the pan, putting it on the protein? Well, it's just, so you want your pan so hot that like it'll be smoking, it'll be starting to burn. Maybe now I have used rapeseed oil because it has a high burning point, but even still it can start to, you know, suffer a little bit and get smoky and burnt. Even though, look, I always say to people, you can't be a good cook without creating a bit of smoke. It's essential. And do you have a rule of thumb then in terms of how long you need to let the meat rest? Yeah, so I mean, the rule of thumb is rest for half the cooking time. So this is nice and medium, Simon, just as you like it. Medium. Oh, yeah. And my one will be medium rare, the next one. Lovely. So the rule of thumb is rest for half the cooking time. But for me, when it's a steak like this that you're only cooking for a few minutes, I'd rest for nearly the same amount of time that I've cooked it, if you see what I mean. Yeah. And then the whole point of resting is just to make sure the juices don't just fall out. But it's so important to rest when you're cooking any kind of protein, isn't it? Absolutely, because like it's a muscle, so it tenses up when it hits the heat, you know? Oh, Lord. So here we go. So I have some warm broccoli there that I just, a little bit more than blanched, sort of, it's cooked al dente.
Okay.
And then I have some celery. So, of course, celery and blue cheese, the classic combination that you have with chicken wings and the likes. And next up then, I have my dressing.
Gorgeous.
And then over here, I have a little bit of pickled red onion, which I lightly pickled. So I just poured some boiling water over it for 5 minutes, and then I popped some lemon over it.
Yeah, I saw that recently on one of the cooking shows that, you know, that was someone who's doing a Mexican dish and they wanted to take the heat and the acidity out of the onion, and you just chop the onions and steep them in cold water. Exactly. Just takes the acidity out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is just giving it a little bit more pungency here by putting the lemon on it, you know.
Oh, Lord, that looks absolutely fab.
Then I have some gorgeous microgreens from a local producer of mine. Again, I had them in the fridge that day when I made this. Yeah. This is my favourite way of cooking, actually, because a lot of my classes, I have to send the recipes in advance and all the rest. But actually, cooking like this midweek at home, just what's in the fridge, what's in the store cupboard, it's so nice. So you're going to have a taste, Simon? I
am going to dive head first into that, yeah, absolutely, because you've cooked that steak perfectly now for me. Good. It's medium, but as you say, when you're cooking this, look, it's as you like it. Exactly. So, like, the other one there is probably a bit more medium rare that I've cooked for myself. Can you answer the age-old question for people who are watching in terms of how do I know a mistake's cooked? Do you use that thumb thing, or...? To be honest, I found that one always a bit confusing. Right. You know, so obviously it's how you hold your thumb to your forefinger and how the feeling is, the tension there is the idea. But I basically, at this stage, I've been cooking for so long, I just go by sight, to be honest, and how long I've left it on. So the thing is to just take note of what thickness your steak is, and that's a good way to know. And then, of course, if it is a little bit rare, you can just pop it back onto the pan, but just rest it again. You know what I mean? And just keep an eye on it. Watch it. Exactly, exactly. I mean, look, when you feel it. Yeah. Like, I can tell that's rare now. I don't know if we can see on the camera. Yeah. But it's quite rare because when I touch it, it actually kind of has a little bit of springiness. Right. It's coming back up, if you see what I mean. And also, there's a little bit of blood, as you can see, just kind of coming out around the edges there. And that's why we're resting, because if I cut that now, the blood would just, the juices on the blood would just flow off. Rest. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Right, I'm going in. Steak for breakfast. Never did Elvis any harm. Am I right? Any juices like this that you have. Oh, the resting juices, God, that's gold, isn't it? Yes. Have I got time to taste? This is heat tasting anyway. Oh. Oh, no. Steak and blue cheese. Beautiful. Well, Simon, it's always a pleasure to cook for you because you enjoy your food and you taste it. It's lovely. No doubt about that. Yes. Tara, do me a favour, read that for me, will you, while I eat this? OK, full recipe details are up on our website, or check out my website, East Coast Cookery School, for details of my cooking classes and timetable. Well done.